Hello friends, and welcome to Gardening with Creekside. Today we've got a couple of little small projects on the to-do list, so we thought it'd be fun for you to join us. We are going to talk with Jerry about the irrigation install here at the Signature Garden. Of course, we have ripped out this bed and we are going to replant it, have irrigation, so we are going to do that. We're going to grab Jerry and we're going to go over to the garden boxes and we are going to fix the irrigation that got pinched in that last garden box so that we can get our garlic planted today. And then the last thing on my list today is we are going to plant some anemone corms. That's right. We are going to plant anemones now in the fall, so that way in early spring here in North Carolina, we're going to have these gorgeous perennial, for us, anemones coming up along the sidewalk, the walkway of the newly renovated front porch, front yard landscape. So we have got some fun things on our to-do list today. It is yet another beautiful October day here in North Carolina, a Zone 8A. First thing on the list, we are here at the Signature Garden. You can see it behind me. It is coming into full sun, but where we are going to be focusing our attention on today is this long skinny bed that is along the creek bank. And so the creek is literally just right here. Typically it is a nice sleepy little creek, but when she roars, she roars. And so with the huge mature trees being right here, when we plant our shrubs, perennials, annuals right here, they do tend to struggle because it is a very dry because of these enormous mature trees. So, because we had several floods last year that really kind of took away a lot of the topsoil of this bed, the shrubs were struggling big time. So we've removed those, and like I said, we are installing irrigation. So I have got Sweet Thing with me back here because he is the irrigation expert. And so we're gonna talk this through. He brought you along for this when he first started this project. So if you missed that video, you can check it out. Had some fun equipment in here, pulling out the shrubs and making the trench. So basically what we are doing, what he is doing, is that you can see we've got this is 1-inch PVC pipe in here. And so basically there are 3 lines. The one that's closest to me is the main water line, and it goes the entire length of the bed all the way down, and we will have a box in the ground where we can attach a hose and future irrigation if we need to in the coming months and years. Then we have the other 2 lines are going to be for the irrigation zones here along this bed. And you can see that he also has the wire. The wire for the irrigation and the future irrigation is also in this trench, so we don't have to dig it up if we add irrigation zones to this area in the future. So what he'll have to do, obviously, is hook the wires and all of these guys to it so that it will turn on. And I'm going to turn it over to him and let him explain. I'm gonna be the camera woman and let him explain all of the nitty-gritty details about this irrigation.
Yeah, I guess there's a couple trains of thought on your setup, with irrigation. A lot of people, I guess, ask, so that's why we're kind of taking a moment to talk about how we went about setting this up. First of all, you got to be able to tap into main water, which we had easily down here because we had a spigot down here, so we know where the main water is coming. And there's 2 trains of thought from your valves, right? By far, everything that we have set up on our property, we usually have a good number of valves together, so you know where that valve box is at. And there are some folks that do long install irrigations, and because you have to run, wherever you're running your zones, zone 1, zone 2, all of this pipe has to go for the entire zone. And so if I'm trying to feed water from this zone, like on the other side of the Signature Garden, I got to carry pipe all the way from here. But some people, since you have the main water, they'll take that valve and add it on down the road. You see what I'm saying? So we try to get as much of it together because almost all of this is in this zone. So each one of those pipes where these valves are hooked to have a 1-inch swing coupler to it, which is these two guys here. And so that one's feeding the lawn irrigation and one is feeding the shrub irrigation. Okay, so this was really nice. I like these 1-inch couplers with the swing adapter already on it. So all you gotta do is just slide this pipe on top. No fittings are required. This is a very thick, sturdy pipe, and same thing on the heads. So the heads, these are these Hunter PG. We use basically for rotaries, it's a Hunter PGP valve, and then you have the blue adapter inside, which is your spray. So they have different numbers on them. This is a 2, which is less water than say for like a 5. So depending on your city or your well, how much pressure you have to change these throughout to get the right pressure. Okay, you can adjust. So they all have a right hand hard turn on. So this area here is telling me that I've turned it to the right and it's going to stop and come all the way back to wherever I choose to have it stop. It can go all the way around, but this one's going to stop somewhere in this direction. The rest of them are all doing what, 40, is that a 90 degree? Yeah, 90 degree turns on every one of them going down through there. Now this just pops up here and just sprays a mist, a good bit of water coming out. So there's no adjustments per se to that. You can turn it down in there to kind of get your angle right because it's still on that fitting, and you can turn it left or right on the fitting. It still will turn. It's not super tight. What else was I thinking about? So on valves, we have found that we have used, Hunter spray heads, Hunter pipe, Rainbird pipe, Rainbird. I never used Rainbird rotaries or fan heads. This would call it like a fan head because it's like, spraying out in a fan. But we just switched to these Rainbird valves. And the reason is they're a little more heavy duty than the Hunter. If you just look at them, they're really stout. And inside them, on this back side, they have this mechanism that is scrubbing the water. So if you have like a lot of sediment or different things that come through there, it's scrubbing that and cleaning that. So that way, because there's a diaphragm that opens up when the solenoid tells it to turn on and lets all that water flow through. We've been having problems with the Hunters where it's a plastic rubbery diaphragm that gets the least little bit of debris in it when it closes, and it lets water seep through the zone. I have one that's leaking over here in the shrub lot right now. So we've just started switching back to this. The house was built 20 years ago. They put 4 valves in the front yard. All 4 of them are Rainbird, and they've never been serviced in 20 years. Up till now, we just had a weird, we think it's a electrical thing. We're not sure from the lightning strike from when it took out the well, or that they just happened just to come loose in there. So we've got to go through and clean that up. But for the most part, those valves have never been maintenance. They have never had any problems. So hence, I kind of like this heavy duty. I'm sure Hunter has a heavy duty version, but my guy had these, so we grabbed them. So that's what we're headed in this direction. So the pipe is, it's North Carolina, so we don't have to go 2 feet down in the soil. It's like 18 inches. Everything's in the same trench, but we're going to be adding soil on top of this, so it's going to be further down than what you see. So it by the time we add our clay soil and all our compost and all our mix on top of this, and we probably use a bunch of different stuff, because look at this. I mean, this soil, which is great, but it's sandy loam, so it's going to drain well, but that also means it's going to drain the nutrients well. So we have to be able to get something in there to kind of hold your fertilizer. So that'd be the next step today when I get all this kind of cleaned up and all the heads where they need to be.
Yep. So the only thing you have to do now is, because you have all of the heads are down placed through there, so you just have to kind of finalize and make sure they're nice and straight and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we'll come through like this one here. You know, I know that I've already pre-adjusted it, got it tight on that little marks right there. I know that the fan is going in this direction. I can turn it if I want to, but yeah, I'm just going to take it, hold it, you know, just bring soil in like that, and make sure my pipe goes down over there. This soil being so dry, so by the time I keep adding more soil, compost, mulch, we're going to get to the top of this thing. And I want to know where these are. I don't want them buried. So
no, because also, and the reason that we put them, we talked about this in the earlier video, we don't like to put them in the grass. We like to have the sprinkler heads in the flower bed. But when possible, right, in the yard. That we've got some that are in the yard, but it just makes it easier, because when we come through, whether you're mowing or with us, when we have heavy equipment coming through here sometimes in the fall, when we do that core aeration, right, all that aeration, because remember, it's that machine that has all those spikes, and we don't have to worry about hitting the irrigation heads. It makes just our life a lot easier as far as keeping them in the flower bed, and they're in the front of the flower bed, and we know, yeah, we'll know where they are, and so hopefully we won't hit them, and then of course having an idea of where the pipe is and all of that. So that is the update on this. And so
yeah, we kind of got a little, I know y'all have seen a couple of videos of us over here talking about it, and as being a small business owner, we just couldn't stay on the same task. You know, we had to move on. You know, is that sometimes we just have to, like, you know, move on to the next thing. And I got called off of this and couldn't finish it because, you know, we were getting ready to launch our pre-order annuals that's on board right now, and there was just a couple of things we were wanting to you know, kind of fine-tune on that, so that, you know, was more important. So left this and, you know, moved on to deal with some things with the website. So that's why we're back over here on a Monday morning.
Yes, Monday morning. Yeah, so, you know, we face the same things exactly that you do too, as living life. You know, like I told you the last time we were here, we were supposed to have all of this done in that day, but then Jerry had an eye appointment. I had to go pick up my car from getting new tires, right? So we keep saying, oh, well, today we're going to wrap this up. Well, maybe today we will wrap this up, but before he gets too into this, I am going to, speaking of the devil, I am going to grab him, and I am going to take him back to the house, because I need him to help me fix another irrigation problem that we have in the garden boxes. So there's one garden box that is having issues with its irrigation. We're pretty sure that we know exactly what it is, and hopefully it is an easy fix. But yeah, I'm gonna grab him so that way we can plant garlic today, because it is time to plant garlic.
See, like right here, let me show you an example. Like, we've got the pipe buried, and we raise this front end of the bed up, and you know, it's going up and doing this. That's where that extra soil is going to come in. We're going to fix the grade, so by the time I do that, we're going to catch the top of these sprinklers,
because the tops will just be poking their little heads up.
Yep. So I may run that edger one more time, you know, maybe do another cut. I don't know, we'll see. You know, yeah, so there's two of them.
There's two of them. All right, let's go to the house. Alrighty, so we are up here at the garden boxes, back over at the house, and you were with me when we planted our fall veggies. Can you see all the little green radishes coming up? It's fantastic. So this one flower bed garden box, which is at the front, when we installed it a year ago, this was the very first one we were going to fill with soil. And so when we filled it, we did the whole like logs stick method in the bottom, and we made a mistake and didn't test, and then we put the soil on top, right? So we made the mistake per se and did not test the irrigation before we put the soil in. And this one, when we came this spring to turn it on, barely had any water flow whatsoever. So we are hoping that in this box there is a pinch. We're hoping that it is not down in the ground, but merely just down here in the box somewhere. So Jerry is digging it out, trying to see if he can figure out where the pinch may occur. And so we've got to basically dig until we can figure out exactly where that pinch happened, because this is...
You know, it may not even be a pinch.
May not be a pinch?
I mean, it could be like, who knows? Like, it could be loose.
It could be what?
Loose.
Oh, loose. Because this is...
It does have water that comes through it.
Right, that's what I'm saying, because this is solid line, right? So this is solid tubing, and so all of the boxes have that solid tubing that are connected to PVC line underneath the box, underneath the gravel, because all of that, like Jerry was talking about a minute ago over at the Signature Garden, all of the piping, PVC pipe and all of that stuff is located right here, and this is the valve box. So all the valves for this zone of the garden, there's like 4 or 5 of them that are in this box right here. So coming out of here is PVC line that comes through here, and then for each of the 5 boxes we have that solid line that comes up in the middle of the box. We had it come up, and then that's when we attached the drip tube to it. So like down here, I don't want to dig too much, but you can see like right here, that's where this attaches to, right? So in each one, all these 4 work great, but this guy, because we turned it on in the spring and we were like, why is this box so dry? And so Jerry took off the drip tube, right? So he disconnected right here, and there was barely just a trickle of water coming out of here. So that is what we are trying to figure out. So what we're going to do is a little investigative work right here. Hopefully it will be an easy fix. If it's not an easy fix, it's not the end of the world per se at this moment, because it is the fall. And so, yeah, so he just turned on the boxes with the irrigation. I don't know if you can hear him hissing and making sounds. But let's see. Yeah. So you can see, like right here, see how that, can you see that water coming out, right? So these guys are working. So we know that the irrigation itself is working, but then you come over here and we're dry as bone. So, yep, not good. So, yeah, we're gonna turn this camera off and do a little investigative work. I'll meet you back here when I have some answers for you. All right, y'all, so Jerry has dug down and was able to get the pressure off, so it is dripping quite lovely. So you can see that that water is coming out. What the problem was is, as we suspected, so when we put the logs in here to try to build up the bottom so that we didn't have to put so much soil in it, you can see that the pipe, the tube, is underneath these logs, and these are very long logs, so we can't just lift them out unless we take out all the soil. So Jackson has gone to get the battery for the chainsaw. We're just going to cut these and get the pressure off, because this is stuck, and there was a little pinch right here, and then he thinks he got most of the pressure off, but that this log is the one that is squeezing it. So just to prevent this from happening again in the future, we're going to go ahead, like I said, Jackson actually has 2 battery operated, work great, chainsaws, so we can cut these little sections out to get the pressure off. So just FYI, if you're going to do raised beds and you're going to do that method of with the logs, the stick, the natural debris in the bottom to try to raise it up, because of course all these logs and sticks would, you know, over time are going to decompose and turn into great food and additives for the soil. Just make sure your irrigation line is not pinched before you fill it completely up with soil. So this is the only box that we did that method with, and then we were like, oh my gosh, this is going to take forever. Of course, because we are a grower with the nursery, we had tons of bulk soil on hand that we were able to use. So pine bark, yeah, so it was a combination of pine bark, mix, professional mix, there's all sorts of compost, all sorts of good things are in here. And so yes, so seems that we have fixed the problem. Yay. So I will meet you back here when it's all put back together, and we're going to plant some garlic together. Today, my friends, we are planting garlic, and I have got the garden box all amended. We got the irrigation is fixed, so it is working. Probably won't have to use it this winter. It's a beautiful thing about living in North Carolina. We get plenty of rain in the wintertime. But I went ahead and top dressed this entire bed with the black gold raised bed mix. It is an OMRI listed certified organic mix that you can plant directly in. I did it with my other garden boxes, so we did it with the garlic bed. I am planting music garlic from Johnny's Select Seeds. This is a stiff neck variety, and literally when you're taking the garlic apart, you will see this lovely stiff neck in here. So when you're going to plant garlic, they love really rich soil because they are heavy feeders. So amend either your raised bed with some great compost, some great fertilizer. We're going to be using the Biotone Starter Fertilizer for some nice, strong, healthy roots, of course. And so you have your garlic head. We want to separate that garlic head into the individual cloves. Don't worry about taking the paper off. It is fine. If it stays on, it's great. If it comes off, no problem. Because we're going to plant each individual clove, and this clove is going to turn into its own garlic head. And so the bigger the clove, the bigger the garlic head. And I will say that Johnny's did not skimp on these garlic because they are huge. What we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and top dress this whole thing with the Biotone Starter Fertilizer. Then I am going to take each garlic clove and I'm just going to push it down. If you want to make a furrow, a little row, you can, but as soft as this soil is, I can just push them down 2 to 3 inches down the depth, and I'm going to space them about 6 inches apart. And then we're going to get them nice and watered in, and then we just kind of sit back and let them grow. Planting garlic is about as easy as you can get, right? We want to space them 6 inches apart, put them 2 to 3 inches down into the soil. Kind of common sense. The fat bottom goes down, the pointy end goes up, and then we just got them nice and well watered in. When I love that Johnny's, because I am a visual girl and I need some help, so they included a nice little instruction manual on the production of garlic and how you can maintain it. But if you've never grown garlic before and you love garlic as much as I do, I cook everything with garlic, I love it. It really is the easiest fall crop that you can possibly do. So I just have to wait about 290 days until this garlic is ready, and then we're going to have beautiful fresh garlic for our family, and yeah, for the rest of the season or until we eat it all. So if you've never grown garlic, I would really encourage you to try it out. Super, super easy and lots of fun. Now that the garlic is planted, let's head over and we're going to get those anemones in the ground. Give us beautiful flowers this early spring. I love anemones. How easy garlic is, that would be the anemones for me for the spring flowers. So let's head to the front and get those in the ground. Today we are planting one of my favorite spring flowering bulbs, anemones. Yes, my friends, I love these. They are so stinking easy to plant, to grow, to take care of. And with me in my North Carolina Zone 8A garden, they are a perennial. So yay for that. Now, anemone bulbs, one little thing you need to know about them. You need to soak them for 3 to 4 hours in just room temperature water. So I put these out this morning and they have been soaking up. These sweet things are from Eden Brothers. Fantastic online resource for seeds, bulbs, all things flowers. You can head over to Eden Brothers. This is the First Crush Mix, a beautiful blend of whites and pinks and purples, blues, whatever you want to call them. They are fantastic. Because I am in North Carolina, a zone 8, I can plant these in the fall. So my warmer zones like 7B, 8 through 12, you plant them in the fall. Cooler zones 2 through 7A, 7B, you can plant them in the spring. If you're a zone 7, just pick. You can choose either one and get them in the ground. They are very much like garlic. We are going to plant these 6 inches apart, 2 to 3 inches down into the soil. I'm going to be using some biotone for some nice, strong, healthy root growth. And then basically you can literally forget about them. And come early spring, they will come up and they are stunning. They look very delicate, but they are some tough, tough flowers. They are a great cut flower. If your water dries up in your vase, don't worry about it. Just take them out, give them a little snip on the end, give them some fresh water, and they will perk back up. And again, for me in a zone 8A, they are a perennial. They will come back reliably year after year. Absolutely love anemones. If you've never done them, I would highly encourage you to try them in your garden because I know that you're going to love them. Okay, my friends, so we got all of the anemones in the ground. I had 120 of them. So Eden Brothers packs them in bags of 20. I had 6 bags, equals 120. And so what I did is, because I'm being very strategic with these bulbs, because they are going to be perennials for me, and so I want to work a little smarter, not necessarily harder in the long run. So I only wanted them in along the pathway, really starting with this first chameleon grass and then working on the inside of the walkway between the azaleas and the edging. So what I did is, because I know that especially like this coming spring and summer, I'm gonna have annuals where the violas are, and then I'm gonna do lemon coral here, and then I think on the inside I'm going to do the artist blue ageratum. And so what I did is put all the anemones right behind the azaleas. So I know that I have anemones right here behind each azalea, and I had 16 holes with 120 total bulbs, so I went ahead and just divided them out. So that's anywhere from 7 to 8 bulbs per hole. And then over here, we're not really going to put annuals except for maybe like where the violas are for right now. So here, and then that little pocket over there. So I put a group, but kind of between the tidbits all the way down, and then I continue that down with the between like the tidbit and the grass and here and here. So that way you will have cohesiveness on both sides of the walkway, and they come up pretty early. As far as I remember, they come up even earlier than the tulips did. And so they're like I said, they're so happy and cheery. You need them in full sun, and what's great about them, it doesn't matter how you plant them. Doesn't have to be pointy side up, pointy side down. Does not matter with the anemones. They will come up either way. So have a nice little sweet display right there. And then speaking of display, this past weekend I spent a little bit of time, and y'all, I keep it simple, right? Fall it is. Keep it simple, sweetie, with my quote decorations for fall. These mums were in all of their glory at the garden center, and so they did not sell this past weekend. So I grabbed them, put them on the front porch. And so what I do is I just put a saucer underneath the mums, because that makes it easier. Because really the only thing you need to do with your mums is keep them watered. And so having that saucer there really does help. And so I will water them every 2 to 3 days, depending on how warm it is. And then I took out the summer arrangement of the urns, and I took out the plants. They basically just lifted up and took out maybe the top half of the soil. And then I just grabbed these gorgeous orange mums and then plopped them down in there. They are still in their containers. I don't know if, well, maybe you can see down in there. So they're still in their containers, and they're just sitting on the soil. And again, just keeping them watered, and boom, there you go. And then look at this beauty. Isn't that a gorgeous wreath? So remember I told you that I was going to have another delivery from H. Potter. So of course to know H. Potter is to love H. Potter, because they make great garden accessories like trellises and obelisk and privacy panels and gorgeous hanging baskets and all that. Well, they've recently gotten into like dried botanicals, and so they came out at the time that I ordered, they only had their fall wreaths. Now they have Christmas as well. So this just came yesterday, and look at that. So fun thing is that they are all made and sourced from the United States. I believe Washington State. This is the 30-inch. You can also get it in a 22-inch. So I was like, well, let's go big or go home, right? And so gorgeous, absolutely, and it smells, y'all, so good. Now, the reason that I can have this on my front door, of course, is because we have a very deep porch, and this will not get direct sunlight, so no direct sunlight. It will not get rained on, not that we're getting any rain right now, but it will not get rained on, and then of course it can breathe. If you wanted to keep them from year to year, you can do what I did with the other wreath that I have, and so I hung it above our mantle in our living room. Oh my goodness. I used to have a picture there, and so I took it down, put the wreath up, and it is gorgeous, stunning. So when you keep them indoors, they will last for like, quote, infinity, right? So they will last a very, very long time. So very excited about that. Cannot wait to start thinking about Christmas, because I gotta get through fall though. Gotta get through fall because, like I said, they have gorgeous Christmas wreaths, garland, all sorts of things, both dried and faux. So that is super exciting. You can go ahead and go on over to their website. I want to say they still have a really, really nice selection of fall. And so for me, fall is not just through Halloween, right? I'm more of a fall girl, not necessarily a Halloween girl. So this will literally go through Thanksgiving for me. So whenever Thanksgiving is this year, this will stay up until then. And then I can almost guarantee you it will still look fabulous. And so then I will move it indoors and or save it and stow it for next year, and then I can bring it back out again. So yeah, it has been a very good day, productive day. I am ready for lunch. I'm getting a little hangry, I'm not gonna lie. And so between getting that irrigation looked at, getting the garden box fixed, getting the garlic planted, getting my anemones planted, it is a fantastic day. And of course, the beauty that is of the front porch. As always, we hope you have found this fun, informative, inspirational. We would love it if you would like and subscribe. That way you don't miss those 5 videos that we do each and every week here at Gardening with Creekside. Y'all have an absolutely fantastic day, and we will see you in the next video. Bye, friends.